today we are in the august company of such women achievers who have contributed to this paradigm shift. Ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, may I please invite on stage Lavanya and Nalli. Please welcome the Vice Chairperson of Nalli Group. Lavanya and Nalli, with extensive experience in textile industry, is blending tradition with modern retail innovation. In a short while from now, we will also have Shafeena Yusuff who will be joining Miss Nalli. She is the founder and executive director of Rizq Art Initiative. Shafeena is a passionate art enthusiast and a dedicated professional who has been instrumental in promoting art and culture through her initiative. Up next is also going to be Dr. Sana Sajan, who will be joining her, the multifaceted Dr. Sana Sajan, Director, Danube Group. Her roles encompasses leadership and philanthropy, where she often uses art to raise funds for charitable causes and also collaborates with organizations to promote education and skill development. And joining our guest this evening further is Dr. Shahdadpuri, Managing Director, Nikai Group of Companies, a global leader rooted in resilience and vision. Together they prove that family businesses thrive not on legacy alone, but on leadership, innovation and merit. Let's hear it for our panelists, and moderating this panel is News9's consulting editor, Sudha Sadanand. Ladies and gentlemen. And we have with us Ms. Shafeena. I had just introduced you a short while ago saying you're going to be joining this esteemed panel as well. Please welcome Ms. Shafeena Yusuff here with us. Shafeena Yusuff is the founder and executive director of the Rizq Art Initiative. She is a passionate art enthusiast and a dedicated professional who's been instrumental in promoting art. Welcome.
All right, thank you so much once again. Today, these women on the dais, what we're going to do is affirm some realities and explode many myths. And one of the most irritating and oft-repeated cliches that, oh, you know, she's breaking the glass ceiling. I think the women on the stage today have punctured the skies many times over. And I think there are going to be many more skies to be punctured. Aur bhi aasman hai jisme surak karenge log. So a very big round of applause to all these women. I mean, what success stories are these? I've lived with them. I mean, like a good schoolgirl. That is all my research. Don't worry. Get up. Let's begin with you, Nalli. I'm doing this. So when we say Nalli, for every woman, particularly in the South, it's part of our lives. You know, our weddings, it's heirloom. You just don't go anywhere else. I mean, your first and last stop is Nalli because of who you are. You're a fifth generation, you studied abroad, you came back. But what I'm very interested in is that when you speak about the silk thread and about the sari, and it's legendary that Nalli took great care of the colors and the designs. I mean, do you know when King George came here, his great-grandfather, you know, gave him a dhoti, which is we call a veshti, and it was called Darbar Pet because it had that great design. Or MS Uvalakshmi wore a blue, which is called MS Blue. Still, I have it, you know. So these are the great legends. How did a man start this? I mean, where did it all begin? I want to know the antecedents of the silk thread, as it were. Lavanya.
So I think my family business started 1928. So it's almost a 100-year business now. But if you actually look at us, like we come from a community of weavers. So we go back almost 800 years, which is how it is typically in India. But the interesting thing is your question about how did a man start it. And that's you almost, you know, like I almost have to pick apart the question.
Keep the mic close, please, Lavanya.
A man didn't start it, right? And if you actually look at weaving as a community, and in fact you look at any of the crafts in India, you will see that these are communal activities. Right? If you go to Gujarat, you'll see that people work in clusters, they work in their villages. You will have the women who will do the dyeing, the men who will do the, the tying. And so these have always historically, in our nation, like in India, has always been a communal affair. When we entered into business, I think it's been predominantly the men who've been the face of it. And I found it a little interesting that even for a product like saris, for generations, we've always had the men. But this is a place where I want to also say, in family businesses, now, yes, we are seeing more women in it. But even if you went back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, we've always had women in not just business families, but in family businesses. They were, I would say, playing the role of what I would call back channels, right? Where the maybe brothers can't get along, an uncle can't get along with his nephew. Usually the soft power, usually the back channels, very similar to diplomacy, would have been the women. Someone's wife will go and speak to someone's sister-in-law, will go and speak to somebody else, will broker a deal so that the men can get in the room.
Wonderful is that.
And it's just about time that we're formalizing it.
Right. Okay. You remind me of women. You remind me of Nirma in Gujarat, where everyone, the women work together. Shafeena, wonderful to have you here. We know who your dad is, and today it's also about dads and dads-in-laws and everyone. We got to salute the men who paved the path for us, So it's not men bashing at all. I mean, Shafeena, considering, it's not. Shafeena, the thing is that you were born into the lap of luxury, as it were. Today, if I look at your businesses, I mean, you run multiple businesses. You're into food, you're into, with your husband, that is, empowering women. There is childcare. There are lots of other. What about the art collection, Rizq, which you do, empowering artists in Abu Dhabi along with other artists, All this is very tough. Food is a very tough business, so is art. I want to ask you, did it help that you were born into a house where retail was almost, kind of spoon-fed to you? Did that help you take this forward as you grew up?
I don't think that in conversations in our household it was ever about the retail aspect or how is business done. It was more the legacy I think he left with us, and we still take all three. We are three sisters, no brothers, and I think the legacy, and we're all in business at the moment, and what we've learned and what we took away from spending all that time with him is a legacy of that business is beyond price. It's about value, and how do you bring these value additions to every single stakeholder, every single customer that walks through your door. How do you bring that value to everyone in your household? How do you treat employees like family? How do you use what you have created as value for your community? And I think this is, the legacy that we took away from us. And when you say, my father, magnanimous as he may be, gave us really the wings to do what we wanted to do in life. It was really the mother in my house, my mother, who comes from a very small village in Kerala, who doesn't even speak English to the day, who does her grandkids' laundry to the day. It was her who gave us really the roots of, what it means to be a woman, irrespective of your career ambitions. You can still kind of be grounded and rooted and really understand what it means to be a good person in the world. And that's her, I think.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sana, she spoke about giving it back to the society. She spoke about community, as businesses. I want to talk to you about, when the CSR was something which is very, very vibrant 20 years ago. After that, many companies stop doing it, and then you sit back and you say, they're doing CSR because they're making big profits. But I read about your dad and know about your legacy, about your company's philosophy. Give it back, and first to the people who work for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the people who work for Nikai, Danube, they are taught English-speaking skills, computer skills. They take it very seriously, that if you entered a company like that, you go back being empowered. Speak a little about that, Sana.
First of all, am I audible? First of all, I have to give it to you. You speak so beautifully. I just want to keep listening to you. I feel like you should be on a non-stop audio behind me. It's just such a beauty and strength in your
Coming from
voice,
a woman.
isn't it? Can we have a round of applause for her? It's so beautiful, and there's this beautiful, subtle power also in it, you know. So thank you.
From a woman, I take it as, a big compliment. Men, I don't know. Yeah, go on.
So, giving it back, it's true that a lot of people say, oh yeah, they have so much and thoda bahut de diya to kaun si badi baat hai.
Yes.
But there are a lot of people, unfortunately, they are not even blessed enough to do that much. I feel it is a blessing from God to me if I'm even able to do 1 dirham or $1 of return back to anyone in need. Because God has blessed me that I am able to do that, you know. And even I am able to take that decision is also a blessing in itself. If I'm a cursed child, I will not be able to take that decision, even if I have all the wealth in the world. This is one thing. But besides this, my father-in-law, his name is Sajan. He's a very, very big hero for us as well. I live with him and my kids, and we all live together, 4 generations in the same family. He's the glue of our family. He is really a hero. We live together. Every morning he wakes up, he takes his swimming trunks and goes singing to the, swimming pool. He has this fervor. We know that the sun has risen, daddy is in the swimming pool, the day has started, you know. So he has that energy. So this is about, let's say, more than a decade ago, that our family is very much into cricket. So there was a cricket match going on, company cricket match. And this boy comes in and daddy was sitting and he's like, chalo jaake scoreboard banao. He's just go and make the scoreboard. He's like, boss, main nahi bana sakta. And he just went away. And boss was like, one thing ke boss ki baat nahi mani, and another thing that how come, what's going on? So he was very confused. He didn't call him right away there and then. But then afterwards he called him and he said, what happened? Why didn't you make the scoreboard? You just had to write it. He said, boss, mujhe maths nahi aata hai. Aur wo English mein tha. That moment he was like, he was so shocked. He called the HR manager immediately and asked him, I want to start maths and English classes now in our company. And that day they enrolled 40 students. Out of 40, 16 people internally were promoted because of just that education.
I want to talk about that as well. What a lovely, lovely initiative.
It is something
Ladies
small.
and gents, that requires,
And this is around 2011.
Yeah.
I got married, let's say 4 or 5 years later. And luckily, daddy found me. And he's one of those, he finds that this guy has some of the spark in it. Okay, let's use this and make it like a lit fire. So you're like, Sana, you don't have much to do right now. Come, I'll take you there. Yeah. And then he doesn't pay. He pays with a lot of love.
But you have so much to do now. You've really surprised the old man.
The fun part about this is that I was on the cruise and my mehendi was on my hand and I was still on the phone getting registration of 4,500 blue-collared workers, and we registered them. I went to their camps and we registered them and we got them to study.
And another myth we need to explode is that we can multitask. No, we can't. It is just that we're kind of more efficient. Dr. Jean, there you are. And Dr. Jean is somebody I had a chat with the other day. We thought we'd chat for 5 minutes. We chatted for 42 minutes, Doc. So we had a long chat. Here is somebody who's a pediatrician.
Substantial, meaningful conversation.
So here's somebody, who was in the COVID task force. She's a pediatrician training doctor. Then she takes over Nikai, and look at it, and it's the fastest moving FMCG, you have household goods. There is a story about her. I mean, all the women will love it. You walk into, after a hard day's work, it fascinated me. You walk into your kitchen and it says, hi, Sana, how was your day today? Good? You say, yeah, it was very nice. Someone, the fridge is talking to you. The tomatoes have expired, the cheese has expired, it's your mother-in-law's birthday tomorrow. Do you think we should send her some flowers? I mean, I think this is amazing what you are doing. And what you're doing is that making machines speak to you. For a lot of us, it's not a surprise. But for many women across the world, I think it's a great, great thing. So talk a little about your journey from being a pediatrician and doing this. I mean, this is amazing, Doc. Go ahead.
Thanks, TV News9 for inviting me over here. I think I've just had a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of fun listening to very inspiring stories. And I have to say, not every day that I spend can I say I've learned a thing or two, but I did pick up a thing or two here. So I'm thankful for that. And Sudha, you're amazing, and I agree with her, with your tone of your voice. It's kind of magical. It has that sense. So my journey, not so complicated. Born in an Indian family who believed that education was the only thing that could get the girls a good boy, a good desi boy. So of course I have a brother and me, and one had to be an engineer, one had to be a doctor. Wasn't a choice given to us, by the way. Wasn't something I had volunteered for or even agreed to. But it was like, become a doctor because now your brother is an engineer, so I guess we need one doctor, one engineer. So I did medicine after wailing and crying and spending many days in the lap of my mother. But went to the US for further studies and stayed in the US ever since. So about 18 years I was in the US. And went through the journey of having a private practice to working for a corporate, to working for the University of California health system, to working for the state of California, and then working most recently with the federal level with the COVID task force. I think it's a journey. It teaches you, the experience teaches you every bit of it. COVID hit, and we noticed that there wasn't just a disruption of supply chain and sickness and death, but there was a dramatic shift with reprioritizing what your values were, reprioritizing what your purpose of life was. Right. And a lot of people did this insightful introspection and found that they wanted to go back to their roots, whether it's a country or back to their parents, and kind of be of service to them. Working in a federal task force, you realize you impact millions, right? We made policy decisions on COVID vaccines, COVID medications, social distancing, whatever it was. But I think I realized at the end of the day, I'm coming back to bed and just thinking one thing: are my parents okay? Like, anything in the world can happen, but nothing can happen to them. So I did this twice a day call, one early morning, one night. And after every day, they said to me, Jean, you keep asking for our welfare, and this is Dubai. And Dubai has handled it very well. But I really think you're not okay. And I think you need us more than we need you. So why don't you come back? So I did take that call, because I think when you've been there, done that, been there in the rat race, and then really known that the impact a scientific person like me can have is only if I play the political game, and I'm on the right side of administration all the time. Right. I realized it's time to come home and maybe make an impact somewhere else. So I came back home to the family business, knowing very well that the business model had to change more to digitalization of finance, remote working. Also the consumers, how do we double down on durability, make it accessible, make service so possible for them that they just don't think about these things as chores, as something going wrong in the household. Also noticed that the people were rebuilding their lives, so household appliances weren't just gadgets around the house, but it was more, they were relying on them. We had to build a lot of trust with them, a long-term trust, to ensure that they are getting the convenience. And it's becoming more of a lifestyle, not just gadgets in the house.
You hold that thought, Doc, because when you say it's a lifestyle, I'm going to come back to you and talk about whether it's only for a few people, because you know, our country is about lots of people. Let me now come to you, Lavanya. Lavanya, you know, you are somebody who actually, I think, is somebody who's a flag bearer. You broke the traditional norms. A sari has to be felt, seen, to be bought. That's what, you know, you go to Nalli, you sit there, you get a great cup of coffee, they're hovering around you, they give you a sari, you touch it, you take it outside to the sunlight to see if it looks the same outside. You know, we've done that all our lives. You are the one who took it to, you know, e-commerce. I see that you came back in 2015, was it? 2014, 2015. You worked with a retail giant, you came back. You said, okay, it's going to be e-commerce now. You know, how did that impact the business? The traditional, you were number one, but this is something Lavanya did, you know. So how did that expand your business? And also, did it impact your sales at all? I don't think so.
So the short answer is yes, it did. In a fairly positive
You made money.
way. Yes, yes. And which is in itself a mean feat for e-commerce to be profitable. And I'm not talking contribution margin, I'm talking profit before tax.
Right.
So a little bit about me. I worked in the family business. I spent 7 years outside of that. I went to Harvard Business as a McKinsey alum from the US, worked with Mintra, and then came back because those 7 years, what I had seen was, I'd spent those 7 years at a time, at a very, very exciting time, where I really saw the e-commerce boom from the inside. And after having seen that, it became very clear to me when I left Mintra in 2016, 2015, that this is a legitimate channel. The retailers, the incumbents at that time, weren't looking at it that way. They were looking at it as a discount platform. No one's going to buy there for the exact same reasons. Everybody likes to touch and feel. Who's going to buy this? Right? Years ago, grocery retailers used to think that way. Oh no, you can't. How can you just ask somebody else to pack, you know, vegetables for you? You have to go and select it and, you know, pick the right one. Yeah, but nobody goes to buy vegetables. Right? You just you buy it online and then it comes to you. So I could see that this trend was shifting, and I could see other leading indicators. So I saw how, so multiple things, right? Like, not to get very technical about it, but I could see how smartphones were like completely exploding. It's not about access to the internet. It's about access to the internet in your hands. Right? Anyone can research, anyone can get information, anyone can express. That was happening. The larger ecosystem, the value chain was getting completely modularized. Before, you had to build your own supply chain, build your own servers, build your own, you know, like last mile logistics. Now a whole cottage industry had come up. So I could see that this industry is getting completely modularized. This is where the consumers are shifting. I see the trends, right? And I went straight back to the family business and I asked the old guard who were, you know, in place, and I said, look, I'm interested in this. Is anyone either going to pick it up or stop me? And they said no and no, right? And then I said, okay, do you have a problem with me picking it up? And they said, look, we don't have a problem, but you know how Nalli works. We want profits. So I don't want you, right? I don't want you sitting on it like all of these other giants for 10 years. And I want you to, like, you know, make money for us. And I said, okay, that's a challenge, and I'll pick it up.
Lovely story. And ladies, will you forgive me? We are running out of time, and I've been getting warnings in my ear, which I ignored, being a woman that I am. But thank you very much. We have to get on to our next session. But you've been wonderful women, and my apologies yet again that we did not speak enough, or else we don't even, you know, a night would not suffice. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all these wonderful women who made the time.
Next time, organize a nice bonfire in the desert so we can go on all night with this. It's going to be amazing.
With Sona singing some songs.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for this wonderful.
Thank you so much, beautiful ladies. Well, welcome back again. I'm back. We have another exciting evening ahead. So please stay with us because we are coming out with She Star Awards, followed by an incredible musical journey with Sona Mahapatra. But before all that magic unfolds, let's begin with our next session. So let me introduce you with the next session. Let me take you through that. That's about La Mer Group. And for that, I need to have Mr. Ankur Atre. Please, can I have you on stage, sir? So, well, we have heard Ankur before also. So, Ankur, I really wanted to know, wealth management, it's really that much important for all of us, or all age group? Please, few words on that.
This is a good surprise, I must say. I think we are in the new world where the books will be rewritten. The concepts have changed. You know, earlier we have been taught. I'll start with this because typically many investors, wealth managers, customers hear this from their bankers, especially private bankers. You know, the bonds are safe. You know, US treasuries are, you know, the best asset class and so forth. But the reality is how to mitigate the risk in current market environments. There are so many risks involved, geopolitical, de-dollarization. So to answer Sagarika, wealth management is something which need to be rewritten now. We need to have an active management, continuous monitoring, corrective actions is the key. It's been 20 years in this industry, Sagarika. You know, this is a very good question, and I can speak for 24 hours. This is one of the favorite one, and I would, of course, share a few interesting facts during our panel. It is, I think, it's not important. It's a part and parcel of life, which everyone enjoys every day, and if it's placed right, you can change the destiny overnight. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ankur. And be there because we have this upcoming panel with us, and I need to introduce all our panel members. Ms. Neelam Verma, CEO of WealthLink Solution, is a global finance leader with over 2 decades of experience advising high net worth clients across emerging markets. Neelam ji, please. Thank you. Joining her is Ms. Jasna Bedi, Chief Marketing Officer and Managing Director of BCD Group, is a visionary in global real estate and branding. She has transformed BCD into internationally recognized names. Advocate Bindu S. Chittar, founder and managing director of Chanakya Consultancy, brings more than 3 decades of distinguished legal practice across the UAE and India. 3 voices together, and with that, I would love to introduce and welcome Sandeep Verma, who is the moderator of the session. We have Sandeep ji on stage, please. Yes. Can I ask for it? Oh, that's quick. The chair was there, it's just that it was right at the corner. Can I quickly ask the events team? Thank you so much. So now, Sandeep ji, all yours. The stage,
hello.
Please.
Thank you, Sagarika, for your very kind introduction. We are talking about women can do wonderfully well. That's just an example. I couldn't have done better introduction than that. But thank you very much. Thank you to Varun and TV9's team as well for arranging such an incredible platform and such good discussions. Absolutely thrilled. Privileged to be here amongst all of you. I hope you are enjoying. We have heard a lot of inspirational stories by so many speakers ahead of us, talking about struggles, talking about achievements, talking about how ambitions are kind of rendered, and our panel is just taking it to the next step, because when leadership and vision continues, then it has to be accompanied with creating wealth, growing wealth, preserving wealth, and also the legacy that we talked about.